Am I back? All right. Am I back up? Let me see if I can get back on track and see if my audio is working better now. Is my audio working better now? Somebody let me know. We're back. Divine, can you hear me clearly? Is the question. Can you hear me clearly? Is it clear, Divine? Is awesome? Divine says awesome. Okay, well then I think I'm going to continue with where I left off, and I'm going to see if I can get Princess in here to join me. All right, so Princess to join me on this end. Well, access the microphone, for crying out loud. Well, access it. I mean, why is that a problem? Yes, allow access. Hold on. All right, done. Now you have access. Yes, done. All right, now, what else? I don't even know. This is interesting. Manage. All right, so anyway, Princess, I know I can't get you on the phone right now. But if you want to join, rejoin, just send, do you want to join? Where you at? All right, so let's continue. I just want to make sure I reset there. Ask before accessing. What is, yes. Cameras allow. Yes. Okay. Microphone, where is it? Sound, automatic. Allow. Okay. Yes. All right. Microphone, where is it? All right. That should do it. Oh, microphone here. Allow. Good. All right. Done. All right, so let's see if I can get this call back going. All right. So now, getting back to this, we're talking about the borders are disappearing. Where's your integrity? Because if you don't have that integrity right, and I'm going to get back into this because I want to see if I can, I want to get back into this. Let's see if I can get Princess on this end. All right. So there we go. One moment. All these distractions. All right. Let's see here. So, let me make sure I got this, everything going. All right, so now here we go. Again, we talked about the borders disappearing and why it's important to make sure that your integrity is on point. Getting back to those, going from what we call Egypt into the wilderness, when your integrity is not right, just like those Israelites who were leaving Israel and going into the wilderness with Moses, the thing was that if you get out there in the wilderness and your integrity is not right, you're being disrespectful, you're not honoring the universal laws, then you're going to create another border for yourself, and at the worst, you'll create death for yourself. So this is where we're going. So again, I get a lot of people who want to get outside of the system, and that's great. But if you're thinking that means that you're going to just be able to do any kind of dirty deeds to people and the system can't touch you, you want to think again. because this is where people get themselves into so much trouble. They wish they were back up under the system. They wish, because actually you were being protected up under the system from yourself. The system was protecting you from yourself. So what do we mean? When you're dealing with issues where you some kind of way believe that it's okay for you to do deeds that harm other people, even when we're talking about drugs, when we're talking about doing things where you think you're getting away with it and no one can see you, harming people, then those energies, they must come back to you by law. This is by law. Let me see if I can get Princess back in here, and so we can do a reset in Clubhouse and see where we are. By law, those energies have to come back on you by universal law. And so one of the things that we have to recognize and understand is that as we go into this dimension, in this fifth dimension, whatever cages that you create, they have to do with the energies that you put out and the thoughts that are in your mind. So when we're going into this thing, again, remember, as the cages disappear, things start to manifest more rapidly. And the things that are manifesting for you, they're coming directly from your mind. Nobody is creating that but you. Nobody is creating that but you. And you got to remember that. And so for those of us who live in a state of anger and victimhood, then those are the energies that you're going to create. Those are the energies that you're creating. And so when we come out of that, then those of us who are seeking our paradise, then that's what we're going to find, because that's what we're creating in our mind. So as we do that, let me see if I can get Princess back in here. Maybe she wants to reset. And if you all have any questions or anything you want to add, I'd love to hear it as we go into this. I'd love to hear it. Let's see. Now you're loud. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, great. Thank you, Divine. Let's see. Do y'all have anything y'all want to add? Good. You hear me. Good. Glad to hear that. I'm glad to see that. All right. Let's see if I can get back in here. All right. Now, anybody in, so did y'all hear anything? Do I need to recap? Maybe I need to recap. I'm going to bring Princess back in here. Maybe I need to recap since you all couldn't hear what I was saying in the first sessions. Let's see. Let's see if I can get her back in. But, in the meantime, if you all have anything else, I'm going to recap. I see that I'm probably going to need to recap since that first session, the first part of that session wasn't that loud. Princess, we're going to see if we can bring her back in here. Let me see this. Let me see this. And so I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you so much for getting up with us in the morning. We wanted to do this a little bit late. I'm actually 2 hours behind Eastern time. So we had so many people on the West Coast that were saying they were missing it.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So give me 1 second. So we had so many people on the West Coast that were missing us. So we wanted to make sure we got them in here. So we started a little bit later. We started at 9 on the Eastern time, and I'm still 7 here on the West Coast. Jamie, you in the house?
I am. Yes, I am. I believe you can hear me through Clubhouse. I was on Clubhouse. When I took the call, it dropped everything. But I can do the reset from here, though. I can just, hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here today live on Clubhouse, in the UNA Law Club, and on Facebook with Diva Laree from UNA University. We are discussing borders. There are none. And how strong is your integrity? It's a great discussion this morning, Diva. I'm enjoying it. I'm seeing all the relativity, and I'm sure everyone else in the room is. If you're in Clubhouse and you have a question, do raise your hand. We'll bring you up to the stage. You can ask your question. Then, if you are on the Facebook world, hey everybody, then be sure to just put it in the comments section, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. We want to thank you so much for taking your time out this morning and joining us. We hope that you have a pen. You're sounding great, and we hear you well on Clubhouse. Andrea's doing a fantastic job. She has her mic open for us so that we can hear you on Clubhouse.
Excellent. All right, so now, this is what I want to do. I want to, let's see. What I want to do is make sure that we hear you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
And just want to make sure we get you in here loud and clear. But yeah, we're in Mexico now. I'm in Mexico. Y'all are here with me. So we are in Mazatlan, Mexico. And I want to make sure you all can hear me well. 1 second. Say it again.
Divine has a question.
What was?
Divine has a question. She wants to know if there should be some shadow work in cleansing the spirit. She's asking for a friend.
Yes, there's shadow work, and we talk about recognizing the energies that are coming to us. So, for example, we'll have, if you see an energy come to you that's annoys you or upsets you or angers you, a lot of times we'll be so stuck in our emotion that we don't recognize that it's just reflecting us. Everything is a reflection of us. And so what we have to do is to learn how to sit back and recognize that whatever energy that is coming to us is an energy that somewhere we put it out. And that's hard for a lot of people to see because we just, some people just buttholes. Yeah, well, they're reflecting you if they're in your dimension. And so once we get to the point where we are willing to recognize that everybody is our reflection and that they are the ones that they're mirroring us. Because we tend to think, I didn't do anything to that person. Well, it's not that person that the energy is where you put it out to. It's someone else. So that person is only there in your face to show you an energy that you put out to someone else at another time. And so once we start to recognize that, then that's when we can say, okay, we can go back and clear it up on the spiritual side and recognize, okay, first of all, I don't want to be the one putting that energy out to anyone. Second of all, I apologize. Ask to be forgiven for whatever energies I put out. And then the third thing, you want to forgive the person who put the energy out to you because they were just there for you to learn the lesson. A lot of times we're so caught up in our anger and our frustration and I got the right to be mad. Okay. But you're not recognizing the lesson that we're here to learn. I get it because, sometimes it's very difficult. When I talk about the borders and especially me having to travel from North America and, I've been, in the airport, I've been dealing with these people. And these people who have created this border. And I got to remember, wait a minute. All right, who am I? This is not my first time here. I have to recognize who they are, that these people are just there to give me something that I put out at another time. How do I transcend it? That's where we are. And so, again, just recognizing that there are these borders, and learning to maintain a balance of not having anger, and recognizing, okay, I gotta keep my energies right. That's difficult. So I get it, especially dealing with these TSA agents and the airport and going through this. I get it. But again, these are energies that we've created as the gods that we are, that we don't want to recognize. And so in order to transcend them, we got to make sure we keep our mind right. So again, what you're going to see in your fifth dimension, whether there are borders that are going to disappear, and then depending on what your mental state is, you're going to be creating a border for yourself. Can you all still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, but I know you can hear me here, but can you all still hear me on Facebook? Is what I'm trying to get at, and as I'm.
Yes, I'm on all 3 platforms. Amazingly.
That is amazing.
I can hear you on Facebook, hear you on Clubhouse, and I hear you right here.
Excellent. That is amazing. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your work. All right. So now, as we continue, I'm trying to pair this. I want to know if there's any other questions. I think I'm going to go back. I'm going to recap on what I spoke about in the first part of this, because I think that audio was cut out. I talked about the borders are disappearing and how strong is your integrity. Now go back to this, what the borders are. Let's talk about what the borders are. You've got these borders on paper that we are adhering to because we're choosing to contract. We're choosing to contract as a whole, as a people as a whole. We're choosing to contract where somebody says, okay, this is the border for this state, quote unquote state. And these are the borders for this quote unquote country. Those are borders, but that's on paper. They're not real. These are created by man to keep you in a cage. So they might be invisible borders to some degree, but mentally, we have accepted them. All right. Another border is these vessels. Your spirit is within these vessels, but it has the ability to transcend these vessels when when you have your right mind. When we know who we are as spiritual entities, we can transcend these borders at any time, just like a cell. I mean, it's no different than like a jail cell. So this is a vessel, a vehicle for your spiritual entities. And so when I talk about spirits, I'm not just talking about, something in the sky. We're talking about these bacteria. Let's go back to what I'm speaking on. These bacteria within you, they're all within you, and they're different entities. So you as a spiritual entity, you have put together this vessel with all of these other spiritual entities helping to run it. And that's what we got to remember, that we are made up of many different spiritual entities, and we control them with our mind. So, but at any point when we want to transcend them, we can do it, and we do it all the time when we're dreaming, when you're thinking, astral traveling. That's your spiritual entity leaving the vessel and going elsewhere. So again, these are vessels, the same way like in a jail cell, you can change from one cell to another cell. You can change from one vessel to another one when you learn to get your mind right. All right. And so there are entities here that know how to do that and do that regularly. And again, that technology is going to come open to us. Now, let me get back to this, the technology, because I talked about, before I go on to that, how there was this parrot, this big, beautiful parrot, and it was this cage it was in, and the cage stayed open. They just kept the cage open, and the bird was free to come out of it and go in when it wanted to, but it felt comfortable and safe in that cage. And that's where it chose to stay. And so mentally, that's where, where it didn't want to leave that. And that's how a lot of people are. You're free to roam this planet. But a lot of people feel safe in whatever country they're in. You just want, I don't want to leave. Well, that's what you have chosen. A lot of people have chosen to stay in their neighborhood where there's crime and it's, dangerous and it's run down and it's this and it's that. And they want to complain about it. But this is what you've chosen. That's where your mindset is. Wherever you are, that's a display of what's in your mind. You've chosen to be there. So when you choose to make your life different, if you choose to go to your paradise, everybody's going to see it. Has chosen to see that. Everybody will see that when you choose to go into your own dimension. All right? Are you with me? Jamie? Are you with me?
I'm with you now, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, So what we want to do is make sure that when we are choosing what we're putting in our minds, we want to make sure that we are seeking what we want. Because again, as we go into this time, everything that you think is manifesting more rapidly. All right. So now, I think I'm going to, Princess, do you want to do a reset with me on this? For me on this? Princess?
You may be. I don't know. My reception is so terrible. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, come on, bring me in.
All right, come on. Come on, go ahead.
Can
You're in, yeah. You can speak. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was just in agreement with you. My thing has always been music. Music, TV, like I said, I was sharing with the group when we were cut off the first time. News. When COVID came out, I was watching news. There was something I did anyway because of my business. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And because of my business, I would always watch the news in the morning and get weather across the nation, know what's going on, that sort of thing, so I could let my truckers know what was going on. But then, when COVID came, every day it was COVID. I got depressed, just listening to it and seeing what was going on with other people wherever they were. At that time, it wasn't anyone in my personal circles whom I knew. It was just the news, and the news was just dragging me down. Music. One time, I was driving in my car, and 50 Cent was in the cassette player, the CD player. My ex-husband used to like that music. And so anyway, he had the new album out, and it was a song that said, my gun go off, And I'm driving to the store, and this is playing, I like the rhythm, so I'm like, okay, let me see what he's talking about. And that's all he was saying. Well, I found myself in the grocery store, pushing through the aisle. All of a sudden, as you know, Diva, I'll burst out in song randomly. Well, the song that came out was, my gun go off. And I'm going up, and I looked around, and I'm like, oh, that song. And so that's what I teach. You feed your mind what you want to regurgitate. So if you're feeding your mind negativity, then negativity is what you're going to regurgitate. If you're sitting up watching guts and gore, is what I call it, the death culture, then that's what you're going to regurgitate. If in the hood you are being hood, that's what you're going to regurgitate. And if you can get out, get out.
Yeah.
It's a pit. But thank you for expanding on that. And for myself, I want to thank you on another note about borders, because they're not just limited to those things. They are, whatever your thoughts are, will create borders or open doors for you.
Absolutely.
And thank you for that. Thank you, Diva.
Thank you, Princess. I appreciate the love. Thank you for that. That synopsis too, because again, one of the things we got to recognize is when we're putting down or when we are watching certain things, you're feeding your mind. So if you're watching, scary movies and horror movies, you're watching a lot of news, you are creating that. Again, remember, your thoughts are very, very powerful. Whatever you're putting into your mind, that is what has to manifest that's what your vessel has to manifest. Every entity and spiritual entity within you is going to work to create whatever goes into your mind. That's why you have to be careful of what you're watching. If you're watching a lot of television, then you are going to be creating what these people are putting in your mind. And some of y'all think you're so intelligent, and I get it. But really, your brain is picking up on things. Your subconscious picks up on things that you are clueless about, because these people know very well how our system works. They know how our mind works. And so because you're not cognizant of that, and you thinking, oh, well, I'm gonna just watch this, and it don't mean anything, I enjoy. Okay, well, recognize that you're being programmed. And so, especially if you're watching scary movies, you're watching, your zombie movies. Okay, it's entertaining, but you better recognize that your mind is going to manifest that for you. This is why it's very important when we talk about being able to meditate and clear your mind. You got to be able to clear your mind, because y'all going to start seeing some stuff. You're going to start seeing some things. And if your mind is in a state whereby you are constantly focused on negative thoughts, or what you're seeing is negative, you're going to have a very difficult time in this dimension that's coming up. Those of you all who have learned how to meditate and see your paradise and focus on it and concentrate and manifest it, that's what you're going to manifest. So everything that you're seeing has to do with what your vessel is creating for you. So, again, this is that time you want to learn how to meditate, because as these borders disappear, your mental thinking is what's going to create. That's what's going to create your new borders, or make sure you don't create any other new borders. All right. Now, let me get back to this technology. There's going to be a technology that's going to be where, okay, there is no, you don't have to be concerned with an airport anymore. That's going to be obsolete. The same way, see, watch this now. The same way that banks are becoming obsolete. The same way these big businesses, like everybody, these multi-million-dollar businesses, Xerox and you name it, that have gone out of business because the technology has moved so fast that they nobody wants to deal with them. They can't sustain. Nobody's trying to invest in them. All right, your airports, they're going to become obsolete. Buses, they're going to become obsolete. There's going to be a new technology that forces all of these borders to disappear. You're not going to have to, nobody's going to be able to tell you, no, you got to stay in this state. No, you got to stay in this country. You're going to be able to travel at will. You are free to roam the planet. The borders are disappearing. Now, I go back to this. When a border disappears, that is like coming out of what, quote unquote, Egypt, as that biblical story, and going into the wilderness. Again, if your integrity is not right, if you don't have that integrity with you to be righteous and do right by people, where you're not harming them, then when you get out in the wilderness, you're going to experience that. And some of us are not really truly recognizing the energies that we're putting out. And so we want to get angry with other people, and some people just jerks. Well, you're not recognizing, they're just reflecting you. They're reflecting you. Every energy that you have coming to you, it's a reflection. And so again, I say to you, just be careful about your integrity. Be careful about the energies you put out, Be careful about what you are thinking, because as soon as you think that thought, it is highly powerful. Your vessel is going to manifest it. Whatever you're watching, you be very careful about what you're putting in your mind. If you want paradise, go find you some pictures of the paradise you want and watch it. Look at it. Watch videos of people there and see how they're reacting in that paradise. Put yourself there mentally. If you don't want certain things, don't eat it. I know we think that this stuff out here is real. This is really not the real world. The real world is in your mind. What are you manifesting in your mind? Really? So I say to you, yeah, the borders are disappearing. Princess, did you want to add anything you want to reset on that? I don't know if we have some people in the room. If you want to reset.
Yeah, let's do a reset. And
Okay.
you guys pardon me over in Clubhouse. I'm here. Okay, so yeah, we are here live in the UNA Law Club on Clubhouse and live on Facebook at UNA America. We want to thank everyone for taking their time, mind, and energy and spending that with us this morning. Yes, that's currency too. And so, speaking of currency, I want to invite everyone to go to the UNA Love Market and get your love coin. If you have not gotten your love note yet, you need to go ahead, go to unalovemarket.com and get your love note. You're going to love it. It comes with a certificate. It has its own registration number, and that's going to be very, very sacred. Go ahead, join in with us on that. For those who are in the Clubhouse on with us, we want to thank you again for joining us. Make sure to hit that plus sign as we're going through the meeting. Hit the plus sign, invite friends in, let them come and join in on the conversation as well. Also, if you haven't done so already, click on that little greenhouse in the upper left-hand corner and follow us. We do follow back. I hope you have your pens and notebooks handy, and be sure to pay attention. We're going to give it back to you, Diva.
Thank you, Princess. So yes, all right. So now we're getting into this thing about the borders are disappearing. How strong is your integrity? Now I talked about these Israelites as they're coming out of Egypt, and Moses comes here to save these people, and they get out into the wilderness and they are complaining. Y'all know how we do. What's going on out here? At least in Egypt, we had steak and potatoes. We get out here, what is this myrrh stuff? We tired of eating this. We need to take a vote, because we need to go back, because this ain't we can't be out in the wilderness, honey. We need to go on back. We taking a vote. And so they get out here, and again, they don't have integrity, and they don't have the mindset to deal with what they're coming up against. So again, as we leave this dimension and we leave these borders, again, where is your mindset when you get out here? Because this is not going to be, you've got to have some integrity. You've got to be mentally prepared for what you're about to go up against. And again, this is a time when your thoughts are going to manifest much more rapidly. In everything you're thinking, all of your thoughts, when they manifest for you, you're going to be upset. You're going to be stuck in your ego. And if you're not recognizing what the energies are that are coming to you, then again, you're going to either create another border for yourself, or out in the wilderness, you might just lose your life. So what am I talking about? When we transcend borders, all right, when some people get outside of the system, they might think, oh, well, the system can't touch me, so I can go steal something. I can go do whatever I want to. They can't touch me. I just be able to use this law to get out of this. Well, here's the deal. Listen, if there is an energy you put out, there is no escaping the return of that energy. If there's an energy that you put out, there is no escaping the return of that energy. That energy must find you. Nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to keep you from it. Nobody. If you're supposed to be there, you're going to get it. And so I tell you, I say to you, if you don't have integrity when you're leaving the system, you're going to wish you had that system, because the system is protecting some of y'all. Some of y'all just don't recognize it because your integrity is so bad, that you're not recognizing the energies that are coming to you. And so when things are getting stolen from you and you just think, oh, these people, they jerks, they this, they that. Okay, what, you not recognizing what you stole or what you took from somebody? You're not recognizing that. Okay, all right. I'm going to give you an example of how you can't stop an energy regardless, if you're supposed to get it. All right, some of y'all know it. Some of y'all might be mad at me when I say this. I don't care. Y'all better recognize what this energy is. The O.J. Simpson whole situation. I'm going to speak on that because here's a man, O.J. Simpson, and I'm not saying whether or not this whole case where he was accused of murdering his wife and her lover. I'm not saying he did it or he didn't. But where there's smoke, there's fire. That is a universal principle. All right? I'm not saying he did it or he didn't. But what that's showing is there's an energy there. He had something to do with it. All right. He had something to do with it. But the deal is that somebody came, he hired the best lawyers on the planet to come in and remove this energy from him. They were able to come in and make some magic happen. You got Johnny Cochran coming in here, and Johnny Cochran know how to speak. He know how to make these other lawyers dance around themselves. He know how to say some words and make them catch on to it, and they over here fighting themselves and not paying attention to what he's doing. Oh, he was magical. Now, we're not going to even talk about what happened with the energy, because again, when you block the universe from delivering an energy, all right, that energy's got to go somewhere. When you block the universe from delivering an energy, that energy's got to go somewhere. I know some of y'all going to be mad. Okay, that's fine. Pay attention though. So now he gets O.J. Simpson off. And now O.J. Simpson gets off and instead of sitting down and being quiet, he writes a book that says, "If I Had Done It." Okay. I'm trying to, again, if you're not catching what I'm saying, it's like, why you don't just go sit down somewhere? Somebody got you off on this case and you write a book saying, if I had, okay, all right. So then after that, somebody supposedly steals something that belongs to him, and he ends up musting into a room with a weapon and stealing his object back from someone who supposedly stole it from him. And what happens? He ends up in prison. He still ends up going to prison. This is what I'm saying to you. Somebody worked real, real hard to keep him from going to prison. And he still found a way to find himself into that place where somebody worked hard to keep him from. Again, I say to you, if there is an energy that you are supposed to get, there is nobody on this planet that is going to keep you from receiving that energy. Nobody. That's just a case right there in your face. And some of y'all are not going to get it because you're in love with, black people won finally. Okay, y'all better get it. You're not going to get away with doing anything. I'm not saying he did murder them people or not. What I am saying is, where there's smoke, there's fire. He did some ish, and there was an energy coming down on him, and somebody wanted him in jail spiritually, and there was nothing to keep him from getting it. It might have been postponed for a little while, But he still eventually got the energy that he was supposed to get. And some of y'all are not seeing that. Again, I say to you, that was just one case. I can show you many. But if you're supposed to get an energy, you're going to get that energy. And there is nothing on this planet that's going to keep you from getting it. So this is why I talk about where is your integrity as we transcend into these times. What energies are you putting out? You're going to get them back. You don't get them back from the people who you put them out on. You get them back at another time from someone else. These are lessons that we're supposed to be learning. When somebody's upsetting you or aggravating you or annoying you or whatever, they're reflecting you. You've done that and put that energy out on someone else. When we learn to see that and we learn to recognize that, then in these times that come, when we start manifesting, we can manifest our paradise. We can manifest our peace because we're recognizing what's in our face and we're clearing it up on this spiritual side. Meaning we're making sure we don't put it out again. We're making sure we don't, on this physical side, when somebody gives us that energy, we don't get upset and angry, even though, it's hard not to. I get it. But the better we're able to recognize these energies that are coming at us, the easier for it will be for us to manifest whatever dimension that we're looking for. We can manifest the paradise, manifest the peace, manifest the love, because we know we're not putting it out on the other side. Princess, you want to reset for me? Are you still with me?
Absolutely, sure. We are listening live to Diva Marie from UNA University. We're live on Clubhouse in the UNA Law Club and live on Facebook. I want to thank everyone for taking their time, mind, and energy and sharing with us this morning. Jacqueline, welcome to the room. Welcome to the house. Thank you for joining us. And everybody in the Facebook world, we thank you for joining us and putting so much energy into the room. Diva, wow, what a subject. We are discussing there are no borders, except for the borders you create. And how strong is your integrity? And we want to thank everyone for taking part in this. If you have any comments, any question, be sure to let us know. Either DM us on the Clubhouse. I'd say just come out and, I have a question. And now would be a good time. Or on Facebook, put it in the comment section, and we will address your questions. If you're in the audience on Clubhouse and you want to come up with a question, be sure to raise your hand. We'll bring you up. Mute the mic once you're on stage and wait for us to call on you. We'll call on you and then you can ask your question or make your comment. Let us know you're done speaking by saying, I'm complete, I'm done speaking, or that's my question. Anything to let us know you're finished speaking so we don't speak over you. Again, we thank you for joining us. Make sure you have your pen handy, your notebook ready, and pay attention. Back to you, Diva.
Thank you, Princess. I know I upset some people with that O.J. Simpson thing.
Oh. I meant to come in on that too. It's like, what do you mean? He had to go to jail.
I didn't say he had to. I'm just saying. Listen, this is someone who escaped something, a serious deal, and still ended up back in prison. How do you?
And possibly because.
Go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead.
When you make a repentance for an action, and then you still go forward and repeat the energy of that action, then you really have not repented. And the universe then can't hear you to forgive you for something that you're going to do again anyway. And I'm not saying he killed that girl, but we do know he beat the mess out of her a few times before they split up. So he had that karma coming back to him anyhow. And that's for any one of us who do whatever we do to another will be done to us. And it may not be by the person we do it to, but it's coming.
Right. I mean, so in most cases it doesn't happen from the person who we do it to. In most cases it doesn't. So I say, again, I say to you, it's not that we're saying that he did or he didn't. What I'm saying is what we're seeing is an energy. And a lot of people were taking this, as a racial moment. As a black was a white, and the black man won, and normally they get away with it on the look. Energies is all it is. That's all it is. And so what I'm saying is he ended up in a place where somebody tried to keep him from going. And again, I don't even want to get on the fact that what happened with Johnny Cochran and that he's not here. Don't listen. I say to y'all, you gotta watch what you're doing, because if you're trying to help someone, great, help them. You better reach them on a spiritual level, because when you start getting in the way of the universe and what the energies that she's trying to put out, well, you got an energy coming to you. Period.
And it took me a while to learn that. But even I shared with you, as far as some personal things that happened as a child, not understanding why these things happened to me and being angry at the people who were responsible for the things that happened, and not understanding that this old soul of mine still has some karma to pay for from the last time or the time before last. And so that's why those things came to visit me as a, per se, innocent child. I wasn't so innocent after all. And I'm working daily to grow into that know, to understand what I do does come back to me. Then asking the universe, because I still haven't gotten a manifesto of the past life, whatever, but asking the universe to forgive me. Whatever I did to somebody else, please forgive me and stop that action that had come upon me as a child.
Yes.
Get this.
Yes. Now, I don't know if I'm seeing it over here. I don't have any comments. Do y'all have any comments? Do y'all want to add any questions you want to ask? Any reflections you want to share? We would love to hear that. Do we have any questions over in the Clubhouse? Princess. Halo.
Andrea, I can't ask the room. Can you ask the room if anyone has anything? Call on them individually. Maybe somebody has something they'd like to offer.
All right, and let me know, and then we will.
I guess not. Okay.
But yes, so and I want to thank everybody for joining us today, this morning. Again, I'm in Mexico, so I'm 2 hours behind everybody today, and I want to say thank you all once again for getting up. I shared this morning from where we are. Speaking of reaching paradise or what have you. My thing is to just again go to where I know there is beauty, there is love, and there is peace. And so I just encourage everybody to do that. So I did have a chance to. I was going to broadcast from the beach today. And so it was loud, it was noisy. So I was like, okay, I needed a controlled environment. But I did do a lot of journaling from there, just to show the beauty of where we are. But yeah, tell me about Princess, when you are, what you have found in reaching for your paradise. What things do you take into account when you're reaching for what it is that you're wanting or desiring?
One, that desire feeds the will. Thought powers the spokes. Two, that I strive to be mindful of what I'm doing, my interactions with people. The universe will send you testers to see if you grew from past a certain thing by sending you people who haven't grown. And so then there will be a test for me. Am I going to bite and become that which was, or am I going to stand in this now as who I am now? And I choose to stand in this now most times. Sometimes emotions will get the better of you, and I'm working strongly on that. Like I said, it's standing mindful, steady mindfulness. When I rest at night, I always put some type of healing music on, not sound, not words, just sound vibration. And that's the 420 megahertz, 526, whatever the number may be for that night. Heart chakra has been the focus for the last few months, so most of the stuff I play is related to the heart chakra, and I rest and relax to that. I rise to that. When I go to do my work with the gemstones, I do the same thing. It's a positive affirmation, even as I'm preparing the pieces, as I'm putting the pieces together, as I'm consulting with the people who may be consulting with me about what they need, again, striving to be with integrity with everything that I do.
Excellent. Excellent. And again, it is a challenge. Nobody's saying this stuff is easy. This is not, we're here to learn a lesson and learn some what we missed at another time. And, as we get through this and understand what's going on and who we are, then again, we can transcend this and go to another level. So I'm really excited about this time. I just wanted to make sure I pointed out the fact that we are, again, we're going to another level. And if you are in your right mind, again, there are ways we transcend these vessels every time we go to sleep and we start astral traveling. So, but when you learn, how to manifest, how to get your mind right, how to get your thoughts right, this is when you create your new dimension. This is that time. And so all of us are living a different, we feel like, we're all in this together but everybody's having their own individual reaction to what these stimuluses are out here. All of us are having our own individual reaction to what we're seeing. Everybody's reaction, how they talk about some people have those rose-colored glasses. I'm in Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach was just a paradise to me. But I talked to somebody else, and they, it's crime, it's terrible, it's horrible. Ooh, look at over there. That's what the pimps and prostitutes are. Oh, look at over there. That's terrible. That's run. And I'm like, I'm not even seeing that. I'm seeing something totally different. This is paradise to me. So it just depends on, we're in the same place, in the same time, but this person is having a totally different view of this place where we are than I am. You understand? So it's about, what's that?
I was agreeing with you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was in Vegas, and Kimani Marley, Bob Marley's son, was in town doing a release for his book. And so we did this thing at the Hard Rock, and then afterward we were going to another nightclub. Well, anyway, when I got over there, there was no parking, or so it seemed. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to make a parking space. I'm not going to park way back here in this lot, and I got to walk out here by myself. So I pulled up on the sidewalk. And some girls saw me do it. They're going, you can't park there. I said, yes, I can. And I did. And I was not told. I got no tickets. I owned it. Anything you own, it becomes yours.
All right. Well, congratulations on not getting the boot and the toe on that. But yeah, I mean, that's part of the game. Owning it. So, if y'all, do y'all have any comments? I hope y'all are still hearing me.
Yes.
I see Divine is in the house. Thank y'all for joining us this morning. Anybody else in the house, if y'all have any comments, please share with us. I'm here. We're going to be running this at 9 a.m. to 9 to 11 Eastern, so that everybody can catch it. I'm over here on the got that East Coast time going on, or West Coast time rather. So I'm 2 hours behind with Eastern time. So, and that's fine. So we'll just run it in. Then our other people who are on the West Coast can catch it too, if they decide to. All right. So now, does anybody have anything they want to say? I'm not seeing any comments in the room. But as we get ready to go into that time, I really want to take some questions and comments. Do we have anything going on in the room where anybody?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Diva. I'm going to hang up with you, and I'm going to go in Clubhouse and see if I can't get our folks stirred in there, because I know somebody has something to say.
All right.
I know we should. So I'm going to hang up this line, and Andrea has the mic open. Let me know that you can hear me when we come in, okay?
Huh? I'm not on Clubhouse.
Andrea has the mic open on Clubhouse. Yeah.
How am I supposed to hear
Andrea?
you?
Oh, I thought I heard Andrea say something.
How am I supposed to hear you from Clubhouse?
Because it should feed through to Facebook.
How's that?
Andrea has the mic open on Clubhouse. Oh, yeah. So let me just go on there and talk to everybody, and I'll come back. I'll call you back. We gotta figure this out.
All right. Thank you. So now, thank you.
I'll be back, or I'll be in the comments section. Okay.
All right, that'll work. All right. So now, as we get ready, we're rolling on this 30-minute segment. We'd like to get people to ask questions. If y'all have any comments or anything you want to share, let us know. Again, it's talking about the borders are disappearing, and some of the borders again include what we know as the borders of the states, where they're really those are imaginary borders on paper. They're not true borders. Those are borders that have been made up. Borders, country borders. Again, imaginary borders where we have been made to think, oh, we can't leave this place, or you're part of this, and this is this. Because there is just really like a jail cell. We're talking about other borders, including this vessel. This vessel is a border for your spiritual entity. We're talking about education. We don't understand that when we go into these people's facilities that they call educational facilities, they're creating borders and a box. They're putting your mind inside of a box. We don't get that. And so this is why when I travel, and your more successful people are the ones who dropped out of high school, elementary school, they can hardly read, but they're able to run these big businesses because nobody entrapped their mind. Their mind is not in a border. And so some of us are coming to the point where we're allowing our mind to escape the mental borders that have been put on them. So I say the borders are disappearing. But as those borders disappear, some of us, that includes the borders of these legal borders, whereby we've been calling ourselves certain things that are entrapping ourselves legally. We have been ignorant to certain rules and laws that we have been accepting, and we're coming out of that border. We're coming out of those borders and gaining knowledge of self. But as we do that, we also have to make sure we have knowledge of the higher laws and have integrity, because without your integrity, you create other borders for yourself. So today, you might transcend the border of knowing that the state can't touch you. But because you have a lack of integrity, you create another border for yourself whereby you lose some kind of freedom because you've taken it away from someone else because you didn't understand the true law. And so let me get on this, because when I talk about people who are in, for example, any kind of uniform with a weapon, you're going against universal laws. You think, oh, I'm just working for the state and I'm doing this for the state. Your police cops, your police policy enforcers, those are really people who work against the universe. And I meant that. People who are wearing these, who are in the military, Army, Navy, yes, you're working against the universal law. Universal laws when you're in these uniforms, and you are. Give me one second. So yeah, you're working against the universe when you are in these uniforms, and you're partaking in those who are taking other people's freedoms away from them. When you do that, you are putting yourself in the position to where you've got to receive that energy back, and you will receive it back. It may not be in this quote unquote lifetime, or maybe it will for some people. But when you are in a situation where you're taking away people's rights, God-given rights, then that energy has to be returned to you. And yeah, if you have a uniform on, yes, you are working against the universal laws, and you're taking people's rights, and that energy will be returned to you. Even if you're saying, "Oh, I'm doing it under the guise of I'm doing my job," and okay, yeah, universe is going to do a job for you. All right, Princess.
Yes. Am I here?
Yes.
Okay, great. We do have questions. We're trying to figure out how do we, because we can't three-way.
Yeah, well,
regular.
Can you hear Clubhouse now?
No, I can't. Otherwise, it kicks me out. When I'm on the phone, it kicks me out of Clubhouse.
That's fine. Just type it in. Have her to type it in. Can she type it in?
Okay, that's what I'll have them do. Thank you.
Yeah, just have them to type it in, and then we'll get them answered, or any kind of any kind of input or insight. So yeah, just type it in and we'll get it here. So, but yeah.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm gonna hang up and go back to them and tell them.
Okay, send me a message. When you want me to call you, let me call you.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So now, as we get back into this, and I thank you all for joining us once again here on the Clubhouse. I hope that you've gotten some information from this. We're just talking about how the borders are disappearing, and there's coming a time where there's a technology. As we get deeper and deeper into this technological advancement, you're going to see that there will be there's going to be a technology that comes that makes the airports obsolete, that makes the bus station obsolete, and there's going to be a different form of travel. The borders are going to disappear. But how you see it and how it works for you and manifests for you is going to be determined by your mindset. What is your mindset? What is your thoughts? See, I've got some sessions that I have to put out once I figure out how to put them out, because I had started and it had become, I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. But basically, viewing as a fourth dimensional being and a fifth dimensional being. Those are some things that I have to get into about what that fourth dimension is, what that fifth dimension is. And it deals with transcending the vessel. It deals with remodifying the contract of this vessel, because this vessel is a contract. So, as we get into that, learning how to view as a fourth dimensional being, as a fifth dimensional being, what is the fourth dimension, what is the fifth dimension, why nobody talks about going to the fourth dimension, and just surpassing the fourth dimension, going into the fifth dimension, because you don't want to get caught in the fourth dimension. That's the place you don't want to get caught. That's kind of where we are now. So as we transcend, where is your mindset? Because where you end up with respect to the fifth dimension has to do with your mindset. What is your mindset? All right. And I talk about the fifth dimension and the fourth dimension. Like the fourth dimension deals with time, and the fifth dimension deals with space and time. So we go into that because the fifth dimension is where you have your vessel and you're able to rewrite the contract of your vessel. Meaning, you able to do those supernatural things that we used to do, whether it be talking with your mind, whether it be moving things with your mind, teleporting, those type of things. That technology is going to become available to you again. but how you look at it is going to be determined by your own mindset. As we get ready to take questions and prepare to wrap it up, y'all ask me questions if y'all have any. Oh, okay. All right, so we got some questions coming in as Princess comes back on. But I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Again, I hope that you all are seeking your paradise. I hope you're finding your paradise and are getting everything that you're desiring in this life. Get it, go get it. Okay? So people tell you it's about suffering. Not me. It's about, from what I'm understanding, it's about getting your mind right and experiencing exactly what you want in this dimension. Hey, Jamie. Princess.
Oh, hey, love. You're back.
All right. So what do you have for me?
Let's see if we got some comments coming in. They said they were going to type them on Facebook. So let's see if we have anything.
Okay.
Maybe I need to refresh.
Maybe I need to refresh mine because I'm not seeing any comments at all.
Okay, Divine said, has something happened in the world? Let me see. Let me go all the way back. Okay. Divine said, I said it all. Shireen Amor Bay, how to help with that mind process, as you said, how to help with that mind process as far as in taking down mental borders.
Okay. Now, good. Thank you. Who asked that?
Shireen Amor Bay.
Shireen. Thank you, Shireen. All right. So here's the deal. When we're talking about taking down mental borders, all right, remember everything that you're seeing in your third dimension, it is the past. And you hear a lot of people say it's not real. Well, it's the past. So it means you can't affect anything in this dimension. You've got to go into your mind because we live in the future. What you're seeing here, again, this is not living. This is reflection of everything that's in your mind. Everything that's in your third dimension is just a reflection of what has come from your mind. It's a reflection, that's all. If you want to change it, you've got to go into your mind and into the future. And you've got to see it. You've got to see it mentally. When you see it, then every cell in your vessel is going to work to manifest whatever you're seeing in your mind. So this is when meditation comes into play, and learning how to meditate. Learning how to clear your mind of the things that you don't want. Because again, we talked about this. Whatever you're thinking, that's what your subconscious is going to manifest for you. So when you're putting thoughts in your mind, you want to be very careful because we think so many thoughts in a day. We don't recognize sometimes how deeply we've dove in. In some of our thoughts and the things that we think. And so it's important to learn how to control those. And you learn to control those by meditation. The other thing, when you're talking about cleansing, you have to watch. If you're watching TV, then you got to watch what you're listen. I have to tell people, turn the TV off. You want to control what your mind and what you're allowing to go into your eyesight and your ears, because these are portals and they are wide open to programming your mind. And those who are manipulating the television networks, they are absolutely, they know full well what you're capable of as a being and as an entity. You don't know. You are clueless. I'm intelligent enough to know what I'm looking at on TV. I know how to phase it out. No, you don't. You don't even know who you are. You're allowing somebody else to program your mind. They're programming every cell in your vessel. And so they are the ones who are creating your future, not you. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. Turn the television off. If you're watching it, then good. You go keep programming yourself with these television programs. Go ahead. The other thing you want to watch who's in your circle, who's in your Facebook friend group, who's sending you inboxes. Watch what before you keep watching these things. Delete it. And some people, y'all need to clean out your friends list. If you're looking through your feed and this one is talking about sexing somebody, and this one is talking about, calling women this, and listen, some of y'all need to clean your inbox out, your friends list out. Some of y'all need to clean your family list out. I mean, who are you talking to? If you have people who are in your circle and they're, you're constantly keeping up hell, they're constantly talking about negativity. What are you discussing? What are y'all talking about? Okay, well then some of y'all need to clean the people who you're around. And certain topics keep coming up, and you know that you need to change that. You need to change the people who you're around. So again, we're all in this, what we feel like, we're on this planet, but everybody is having their own individual experience in this game. And it is depending on what your mindset is. I hope I answered that question, Princess.
Yes, I believe you did thoroughly. We even had an agreement here that disappeared. Okay, yeah, I do agree. As a man thinks, so is he. Manifestation is key. Think on things of good, lovely, creativity, etc. Divine asked if something had happened in the world that made the borders disappear, or is that the five-dimensional paradigm in play? And you did touch on it, so she came back and said, yes, that's what I wanted to know. Fourth, fifth dimension beings behavior. What's the difference there? I don't see anything from our Clubhouse family. I thought they were going to come in and say something. I know Jefflin had something she wanted to say.
All right, so the fourth dimension, I talk about this real quick. I'm going to talk about it briefly, but I want to, because I'm going to want to get into a session where I speak about viewing as a fourth dimension being and a fifth dimension being. Your fourth dimensional beings can see the whole timeline. All right, and see the whole timeline. So what we see as a third dimensional being, we see today at this time at 10 a.m. or whatever time it is. That's what we see. We just see 10:50 a.m. right here, right now. This is all we see. But your fourth dimensional being can see the beginning of your timeline and the ending of your timeline. And likely the other stuff that you did in the past too. But definitely the beginning of your timeline and the ending of your timeline. Meaning they can see the whole thing. They know what steps you make here is going to take you to this particular part down here. That's what the fourth dimensional being knows. So when we're talking about spirits, we're talking about, once again, just plain and simple, putting it plain and simple, those bacteria that are within you and without you, all around you, those bacteria that make up everything, whether it be the glass or the plastic or the metal, those spiritual, everything is alive. Everything has a vibration. Everything has a vibratory frequency. So, but when you have bacteria within you, remember, they are not unintelligent beings. They are highly intelligent. And this is why I talk about, when you're eating certain things and you're intaking mineral spirits from alcohol, or you're intaking a spirit from a pig or a cow or whatever you decide to eat, a chicken, you are actually, you're pulling in different spiritual entities. When you're drinking, when you're sexing someone, all right, you're taking in spiritual entities. Those spiritual entities, just like I told you, when you get a man's sperm inside you, for example, you have his past, present, and future within you, in that sperm. And again, those are spiritual entities. When you know how to tap into them, you can see, again, his past, present, and future. Well, just like you can tap into his, you can tap into yours. You can see your past, present, and future when you know how to communicate with their spiritual entities within you. They can see where you're going. This is why we talk about watching what spiritual entities you put in within you, because there's a spirit that knows and is trying to guide you. There's that, and it's a quiet voice. But all these other spiritual entities, these other bacteria are in you, and they talking loud. They loud. They, girl, don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to get in trouble. Don't go over there. You're going to get yourself hurt. You're going to get yourself killed. Don't do that. Listen, you got to be able to listen to the one that you need to hear. And that's why it's important about watching what you put in your body, watching what you who you're listening to, what you're, who you're sexing, who you're with, who you're around, what you're eating. That's important because you need to hear that spiritual entity within you that knows your past, present, and future, because it's trying to guide you. That's the one you need to be listening to, and it can see all of that. So it's like, I'm going to go to this, and then I'm going to go on to a fifth dimensional being. The fourth dimensional is like, okay, a two-dimensional being would be that being on the paper. I'm trying to find my pen because I I love to draw for my people in Facebook. But it's like a stick figure. All right, if I draw a stick figure, and I'm gonna illustrate this at another time where I really go deeper into this. But if I draw a stick figure on this paper, and then I draw a square in front of the stick figure, and I put the circle inside of that square, the stick figure cannot see the circle in that square. But us as three-dimensional beings, we can see the circle. All the stick figure sees is a line. And it doesn't know there's a circle inside of a square. It doesn't even know that the line is a square. It just sees a line. But you and me, we know it's a square, and we know it's a circle inside the square because we're three-dimensional and we can see it. Whereas the stick figure is two-dimensional and it cannot see that because it doesn't recognize the third dimension, which is the space or the depth. It doesn't recognize that. Only two dimensions, up and down. Now, with that being said, there's that we are the three-dimensional entity. We can see the circle in that square. All right? But a fourth-dimensional being understands time. Whereas all we see is, okay, today at this time. That fourth-dimensional being can see, no, I saw yesterday, years ago, decades ago, and I'm seeing decades from now, years from now, centuries from now. I'm seeing that. And so your spiritual entities that's within you are trying to guide you. Some of them ain't trying to guide you the right way. But again, that's understanding, being able to get in better contact with that spiritual side of yourself. When we're talking about a fifth dimensional entity and why, people are not trying to get stuck. Again, the spirits are in the fourth dimension. And you know why they keep playing these movies over and over again, where it's like a person will do something and they keep repeating it over and over again and over and over again. Well, imagine, being stuck in that and recognizing you stuck in that. Well, that's the spirit. That's the spirits. So you create these vessels to allow you to transcend this particular dimension. All right? You're going through all this trouble to put all these spiritual entities together so you can create a vessel so you can transcend this particular dimension. And, the fourth dimension is where you come from the fourth dimension as a spiritual entity back into this third dimension. And you wonder why you know so much, because you've been here before. All right, now you're trying to transcend to the fifth dimension. Well, that has everything to do with your mindset. Your mindset, all right? And whether or not you're able to see these universal laws and recognize that it's all about your mind that puts you into that other dimension. All right, a fifth dimensional being. We talked about being able to transcend the vessel, get out of the vessel, and you can go into another vessel when you understand the game. You can create another vessel, which some of these entities know how to do, but they're lower vibratory entities, and so this is why they still get stuck. They have a lot of knowledge, but they're lower vibratory, so they get stuck. Well, are you vibrating on a high enough frequency to where you can rewrite the contracts of this vessel? Not only rewrite the contracts of this vessel, but create another vessel. All right, in the fifth dimension, yeah, you're able to do that. You're able to transcend this vessel because you know how to communicate with your cells. You know how to communicate with them to rewrite the contract where I can now levitate when I want to. I can now move things with my mind when I want to because I've learned the game of this dimension. I can see in different points. Just like the fourth dimensional being can see, in different times, that fifth dimensional being understands different signals that are going on to where it knows, all right, in the future, this, and this, because I can read what different signals are. I have to go into that. We'll go into that. I can't illustrate it right now. But I want to be able to go into that so I can really further explain it because it has to do with being able to transcend the vessel by communicating with the other spiritual entities within you as well. Not only transcending the vessel, but going into other vessels. And so we're not necessarily, it could be what you would call what is it when a spirit takes over your a demonic possession? I mean, where you're possessing someone else's vessel, but it's not even just someone else's vessel, but some other thing, what we call a thing. So where you're able to transcend using your mind into another entity. All right, but we'll go into that at some other time. All right, I hope I answered that question. Princess, you still with us? You can go ahead and close this out.
Still. Hi.
What's that?
She said, how do you know you're meditating? Sunshine was asking the question of, how do you know you're meditating the right way?
How do you know you're meditating the right way? Listen, meditation is not the...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Meditation is okay. Yeah, meditation is not as easy as what we might think it is because meditation takes a lot of concentration. You gotta. It's almost like thinking of nothing is very difficult. And so you've got to, once you start thinking, it might be a white wall. And it's just clear. And then that's where you just want to focus on that just clear white wall. There's nothing there. But that's very difficult because in a couple of seconds, you're going to start hearing a sound. You're going to start smelling something. Mm-hmm. A thought is going to come into your mind. And you've got to learn to go back to that and refocus. So when you're able to focus on literally nothing for, 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, that's, you got to build up to that. You've got to build up to that. So, it's going to be something that you do every day and you build up to learning to clear your mind of all of the issues that are going on in your head, being able to clear your mind of all of the thoughts, the distractions. That's when you know you're doing it right. And it's going to take time to build up to where you're able to do it for a longer period of time. Meditation is like an exercise. You got to build up to that. So when you're able to think of nothing and clear your mind, you want to be able to do that because there are going to be some things that come in these times. There are going to be things that come and they're going to challenge you. And you're going to think, they're going to be times where you are in fear. And you're going to have to be able to clear your mind and know that it's not even real. If you're not able to do that, then you're going to be consumed by whatever fear, whatever you think it is you're seeing in your third dimension. You're going to have to be able to clear your mind of that. This is why meditation is very important, because we're going to come into some times where some things are going to test us. Going into a different time frame and dimension, you get ready to get tested. And if you don't know how to clear your mind, you're going to be consumed by the things that you're seeing. And that's going to draw you back into that dimension that you've been trying to transcend for all this time. I hope I answered that question, Princess. Princess, did you have anything you want to add? I can't see any comments at all. I wonder what's going on.
Yeah. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Jeff, I feel like her asking, is the vessel transcending when it but
can you hear me?
The question is I said when she was young, she used to stare on it for hours, never knew why she liked doing that. When it night.
All right. So it sounds like you have two.
I can now. Just in comment to what you were saying, stare at the white wall and focus on.
Okay. That's interesting. It sounds like you got two different devices on, but I didn't hear it. But try it one more time. One more time. Let's see if we can catch it.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Jeffalyn was asking if is the vessel transcending when it night flies?
The vessel. Oh, well, yeah, the spirit is transcending the vessel. So, night flies, I'm thinking she means astral traveling. Yeah, the spirit is transcending.
That's what.
Yeah, because it's it's getting outside of the vessel and going to other places. So we have these dreams where we dream of a place, and then 2 weeks later we see that place that we saw in the dream, but physically we had not ever been there. Well, you was there. You were astral traveling. Your spiritual entity was there, but physically that was your first time being there. So yeah, that's your spirit transcending.
Yes, and that's what I thought she meant too. By a night flies, she meant astral travel.
Yeah. Was there another question? Because I can't see any questions on this end.
Yeah, I had to refresh like twice, and then it disappeared. I had to go back and get it back. I don't see anything new, and we're going to apologize to anyone ahead of time if we have missed your comment or question. It's not showing. We're trying to get to them, but that's it. That's all I see. Sunshine was verifying what you were saying to her about focusing on that white space, that one space on the wall, and things disappearing. Well, that's me talking. She said she used to stare at the white wall and focus on it for hours, and she never knew why she liked doing it.
Good. Then that's important.
I can say, when I was a kid, I used to get put on, what do you call it, quiet time. Go to your room, And it was always about sunset, So I don't know if I was doing this intentionally just so I could have these moments, but I'd actually sit and watch the light shift from light to darkness. It's the most amazing thing to see. When you're focused on that one spot, everything else goes away from around you, and you can see nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most profound thing, and it only happens when you're being still. What I was going to say for meditation, what I do, just my 2 cents, is I go through everything. When I sit down in the beginning of my quiet, I acknowledge everything happening around me. I acknowledge the thoughts pouring in from what happened earlier or the day before, whatever pops into my head. I let all of that pop in without allowing it to be a distraction, knowing I'm going in, I'm going to my center. And I use my sacral chamber as my focal point because I say that's the center of my joy. That's where my joy comes from. So I'll focus on that, and all the things that are around me happening become a part of where I'm going until they completely disappear. And then I'm in that static, I call it a static place. It's where you're feeling nothing, seeing nothing, hearing nothing. You are totally absorbed in your spiritual mind. And that's how I get through the meditation. It usually takes me about 20 minutes to get through that. The thoughts of the day, the actions are going around me, the noise in the other room. But eventually I can get to that place where I need to be. Or I'll go into nature or someplace quiet where I won't have those things distracting, and I'll go in that way.
Well, excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. So, yeah, just make meditating, take some time out to just focus on nothing is what I just encourage everybody to do. Whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just focus, take some time, and then let that build up like a muscle, because that is an exercise that you want to really get used to doing, especially as we go into this time, so that you can, again, just become more efficient at blocking out the things that you do not desire in your third dimension. The borders are disappearing. The borders are very much disappearing. There are technologies that are going to come into play that are going to make a lot of these things that we're so used to obsolete. Things are going to start to disappear. And as they do, borders will disappear. Okay, and again, I say to you, you are free to travel this planet. You are free to travel this planet. But make sure that your integrity is intact and that you are not about doing harm to others, because if there's an energy that you put out, there is nothing on this planet that will stop the universe from finding you and returning it specifically to you. Specifically to you. You're going to get it. So please, let's make sure we watch what energies we're putting out. Watch what thoughts we're putting into our minds, because that is what we're going to create in this dimension. If you want paradise, make sure you go find it. Find it on the internet. That's the great thing about the internet. We talk a lot of trash about it, but we don't recognize the great things about it. Go find your paradise on the internet, and then program your mind with it, and that's what your vessel is going to create for you. That's what your subconscious is going to create for you, whatever you're putting in your mind. So let's be cognizant of that and make sure that let's be cognizant of that and make sure that we program our minds properly. All right. With that being said, let us be ready to close out. You have anything you want to add? Anything you want to add, Princess? Anything you want to add, Princess? All right. So I want to thank you all once again for joining us today. We're going to see you all Thursday at 9 p.m. or 7 p.m. 7 to 9 p.m. on Thursday. I tell you, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to see you all on Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you. Thank you, my spirits with vessels and my spirits without vessels. I love you. I'm out. Bye-bye.